Hi everyone, today we are going for a Q&A on my videos on Antarctica and about my travels on Antarctica. There have been a lot of questions asked regarding my stay and my travel and my photography in Antarctica, and so I would like to address that. A lot of people have asked for some Q&A sessions, and since I cannot go live because of my channel restrictions. I haven't reached that phase that YouTube allows me to go live. So yeah, so for that we'll do the Q&A session right here. Yeah, so I have collated 25 questions. A lot of questions have been asked repeatedly, and so the top 25 questions that I have received over my social media accounts, Facebook, Insta, and YouTube, of course. So I would address those questions. Yeah, so here goes. Firstly, first question is, how long did I stay there? I stayed there for 10 months. I left for Antarctica on 14th January. I left India basically, and reached Antarctica on 6th February, and I left Antarctica on 30th November and reached India on 2nd December. So around 10 months, a little bit more than 10 months. If you are considering when I left India, and if proper Antarctica, if you consider, so a little bit less than 10 months. So that's it. Where did I stay? I stayed in Bharti. Bharti is one of the Indian Antarctic research stations, and it is situated at around 69 degree south and 76 degree east latitude longitude wise. The entire thing is a little bit broader, but roughly around there. And there is another Antarctic station which is Maitri, which is around 2500 kilometers away from Bharti. So I stayed at Bharti Indian Antarctic Research Station. Question number 3, what were the living problems in Antarctica? Basically there weren't any, because the Bharti research station is one of the best research stations that you can get in Antarctica. It is one of the top end, high end facilities that you can get anywhere in world. It was made in it came into commission at around 2012 or 13, and so it is one of the most modern research stations that you can get. So yeah, there is centralized heating, you get your individual rooms, you get hot water, there is ample food, the lounge area is great, and you get a very good view of the entire Antarctic surroundings around the station, because the vista from the lounge is awesome. And yeah, so no temperature problems and no food problems. So Bharti research station is very good for staying there. Okay, question number 4, how was the temperature and the climate there? Of course, according to what everyone knows, Antarctica is obviously cold. It has to be. It is in the southernmost part of the globe. So yeah, it is cold, but global warming is real. And so what it was at least 10 years back, the temperature has risen considerably. And in the summer, the maximum temperature that it went to was plus 8 degrees, which is something to be very frightened of, because of, yes, this is a proof of global warming, which a lot of people try to deny in the hallowed political circles. Leaving that aside, yeah, so the summer temperatures were the maximum it went to plus 8 degrees, but yeah, the temperature ranges from -5 to -10 during the summers on average. And in winters it goes down to around -30 35 degrees. The minimum that we got was -38 degrees, I think. I'm not that sure, but it was around -38 degrees minimum. On average in the winters you will get temperatures at around -20 anytime. And further, the wind is a very important consideration in Antarctica, because the wind always adds on to the chill factor, which we call wind chill, and temperature of something like -20 with a wind speed of around 40 knots will increase the wind chill factor to around -30 or -35 degrees. Yeah, so that's there. Blizzards are very random. You cannot predict those things. Sometimes they will come at like 15 minutes back it was very clear, and suddenly within 15 to 30 minutes you get blizzards of wind speeds with 40 knots or something like that. 40 knots is something around 75 kilometers per hour wind speed. So yeah, the maximum wind speed that we received was around 90 to 100 knots, which is around 180 kilometers per hour wind speed that we received at while during our stay. Of course, you cannot go out at that time from the station. What I experienced personally once I was out of the station was maximum of was 35 knots that I endured on my body, because I was trekking around and then the blizzard started suddenly. So that is what I endured in person. But when the blizzard was that 100 knots, something like that, I was within the station, so I did not feel the brunt of the weather on my body. So yeah, that is there. Fifth question, how many days did it take to travel to Antarctica? Well, it took, we left India from Mumbai, basically Goa to Mumbai to Cape Town, and from Cape Town we took a ship that went to Bharti. The ship was called Vasily Golovnin, and it took 12 days from Cape Town to Bharti Station to reach. So yeah, the entire the voyage has been documented in my earlier videos that you can check out, and that is by ship. From Goa, if you start, it will take around what I have heard, it is around 26 days of journey. And you can also take flights. The flights also run. It is run by ALCI, Antarctic Logistic something, ALCI. So yeah, part of the team comes via voyage, who carries the rations and the medical supplies and everything else, and other researchers and a lot of the members of the expedition come by flights. So the flight starts from Cape Town and it reaches Bharti Antarctic Research Station. There's a airport like 15 to 20 kilometers away from Bharti Research Station, and that flight takes 5.5 hours from Cape Town. So by flight it will take just 5.5 hours, but by voyage it takes 12 days. So yeah. Question number 6, can anyone go there? No. Plain simple no. Not anyone can go there. Only if you're a part of that expedition, or if you are a part of any visits from embassies. Those visits include people from way up the ladder. So yeah, only those people can come, even if they're not part of the expedition. They are from the ministries and all those things. So other than that, you have to come via expeditions, at least to stay in Bharti or Maitri. Other than that, if you want to come to Antarctica, although India does not support tourism in Antarctica because of the Antarctic Treaty, there are countries that organizes companies allowed by countries that organizes trips to Antarctica, and the most famous one is from Argentina, Ushuaia, that you can go and check out in internet. They conduct trips for 14 days, 21 days, 1 month, those kind of things. But per se, staying in Bharti and Maitri is not possible until and unless you are part of an expedition. And to get into the Indian expedition, you have to check out ncaor.gov.in. That is where they do the recruiting stuff. And if anyone wants to go to Antarctica via this route while working, like, otherwise it will be just tourism. So if anyone wants to go to Antarctica for work purposes, for research purposes, so this is the only portal through which you can go to Antarctica from India. Okay, Next question number 7. Can someone visit Bharti? Again the same thing. You cannot visit Bharti. You have to work and you have to go as a part of the expedition. Question number 8. How to go to Bharti? Going to Bharti is like that's the same thing, by flight or by voyage, and as a part of the expedition team or as a part of an embassy if you are in the Ministry of Earth Sciences, or if you are in some like diplomatic capacities, and if something arises from there, of course you can come to Bharti from that place, but other than that only expeditions. Number 9. Modes of transport in Antarctica. Well, modes of transport, what we had was we had a piston bully. That is the only mode of transport that we got to avail, and also there are some snow scooters, but they weren't of much use out there because of the same thing, the global warming thing. There wasn't a lot of snow deposition other than around our station, so the snow scooters weren't of much use. The piston bullies are specialized vehicles. They have chains on their wheels, so they can traverse on difficult landscapes, rugged landscapes, over snow, over rocks and mountains and everything, and they can also traverse over the frozen seas. So yeah, and we used to walk over the frozen seas to reach places, and yeah. Number 10. How often did you see aurora? Aurora australis, that is the aurora that you see in the southern hemisphere, and aurora borealis is what you see in the northern hemisphere. So aurora australis, for that you have to understand the night and the day thing about Antarctica, because we have a long night and a long day where the sun never rises and where the sun never sets respectively. At our station, where it is situated at that latitude, we used to have 54 days of darkness and 54 days of daylight. So during those 54 days of darkness, of course there will be some twilight light for around 2 hours or 3 hours, something like that, at certain phases of the day, but other than that it is almost dark. So during those 54 days, if you are vigilant enough, you may see aurora every alternate day, but it is not that easy to see, because only when the solar flares get very aggressive, there is a scale for aurora which is called the KP scale, and when it is above 3 at least, KP4 or KP5, which we got only once in the entire stay, and KP4 around 4 to 5 times, KP3 a little bit more than that, 10 to 12 times something we got. But apart from that, if it is around KP2 or something, you won't be able to visualize it with the naked eye. And of course, if it is full moon, we won't be able to visualize until and unless it is that bright at KP4 or something like that. Yeah, so that is how often you can see, like the aurora can be visualized almost every alternate day during the dark months, but the main thing is you have to accommodate your eyes to the darkness, and then only you can see a slight glimmer of aurora when it is just KP2 or something like that. Other than that, if it is KP4 or something, then the auroras are bright enough and it will be just dancing, and it is just mesmerizing and hallucinating to look at. But yeah, and to get your eyes accommodated to aurora, you need to stay in the darkness for at least 30 to 45 minutes, and staying in those winter months outside just to accommodate your eyes, it's very difficult and painstaking because of the temperature and the winds. So yeah, that is not that easy and not that possible. Question number 11. How many days do you have daylight there? That I've answered in the previous question. Daylight, we had 54 days of darkness and 54 days of constant daylight. because the sun never set on those 54 days. So that is there, and then 54 days we did not have the sun. Other than that, there is this the wave that we'll get, like it will, the daylights will slowly get increasing after the darkness phase is over. Like I have a video which it is a time lapse of 30 minutes of daylight with the sun rising and then sun setting. So that is on the second day of our first daylight. After that, it will just, the day will be increasing, and then it will be like 24 hours of daylight. So that is there. Question number 12. Did you visit other research stations? Yes, of course, we visited other research stations. The Chinese and the Russian research stations are very nearby to Bharti Research Station. The Chinese Zhongshan and the Russian research station's name is Progress. Both those stations are around 12 to 13 kilometers away from our Bharti Research Station. So we used to go there frequently. Like I went to Chinese station 3 times and the Russian station 3 times, I guess. And we had a very cordial and very good relationships with them. Every national occasions like the Independence Day and their other Republic Day and all those things and similar things in their countries, we used to attend and we used to celebrate. And also the Australian station, the Davy station, is around 130 kilometers away from Bharti. So when we had our helicopter, we flew there to Davy station to just have a visit of the station. Basically, of course, you cannot just go and barge into the stations. Of course, there has to be a communication with them, and there should be a mutual invitations, and from there you can go ahead and do that. So yeah, we had good relationships with the other research stations out there, and since Russian and Chinese stations were very nearby, we can always ask for them for help, which we always did, and they also did the same. And yeah. We also had some competitions. We ran a marathon at the Chinese station. It was not a marathon, 5 kilometers run in the snow, so it is almost like a marathon. And we had basketball competitions, we had table tennis competitions. So yes. Question number 13. Did you get bored? How did you entertain yourselves? Yes, we did get bored. Of course, 10 months in a place where you are just holed up in a limited area with 23 people who are not your family, but they become your family with time. But still, you miss your family, of course. So yes, that is there. And for the first few months, it is all, of course, that is entertaining and that is very exciting to come and come into a place which you never thought you will ever be able to come to. So for the first few months, it was very exciting. Antarctica, and then you have daylight at 2 a.m. and suddenly you get the first glimpse of aurora. Then you see penguins and seals, and then you interact with the other research scientists from other countries, and then you play and have marathons and everything. And so it is exciting for the time being. You walk on the frozen sea. How many have done that? You see the icebergs. So how many have done that? Yes, that time it is very exciting. But once the dark night ends, the long night ends, and the daylight comes back, and it is around 7 months into your expedition, and the daylight comes in, and you get the notice that the next batch is arriving on this date, and from then on it is like it's just a ticking clock. When are we getting the news that we'll be able to go home? And so the end phase, the last 3 months was a little bit boring because you have exhausted all the entertainment of the continent, what the continent could provide you. Of course, the continent provides a hell lot, but yeah, you get accustomed to that. So yeah, in the last 2.5-3 months, I was bored at least, but that does not mean I won't be going back there again, because every journey, every time you go to a different place, you go in with some different viewpoint, different knowledge, a different vision, and you search for things, you look for things that you haven't been able to visualize and you haven't been to experience the previous time. So yeah, just that I was bored in the last 2.5 months does not mean that I have lost all my fascination and all my the excitement for Antarctica. But yes, to answer the question, yes, I got bored. Question number 14, what job did you do? Yes, I went as a medical officer. I was a doctor in the expedition. We had 2 doctors. I was the MD and my partner was a surgeon. And yes, so one from the medicine department, one from the surgery department. So we balanced each other out very well. And as a doctor, you have to take care of the routine checkups. Secondly, any injuries because of the rugged terrain and people working out outside the station. So there are a lot of times when people are injured, not like major injuries, but there has been major injuries in the past, but like cuts, bruises, sprains, tears, all those things. So you have to manage those things as well. And also some medical emergencies. We had a medical emergencies that is beyond the scope of this discussion. So yes, medical emergency like stroke, heart attack or something like that, or some injuries to the limb, fractures or something like that. Yes, so there you have to, that also you have to manage. Other than that, we have to get useful for the expedition. So yes, there was a roster for the daily duties. So everyone has to do something or the other. You have to cook, you have to wash utensils, you have to clean the rooms, you have to clean the lounge, and you have to clean the bathrooms and everything else. Everyone gets a roster for that, and then you have to do it accordingly. So you have to do entire household work to stay in the expedition. You cannot be like, I won't be doing that, that is beneath me, or that is not my job. That is not how expeditions work. You have to be a part of that. So yes, apart from doing the doctory thing, you have to become useful for the expedition also in some other ways. Okay, question number 15, something like, how hectic is Antarctica? I don't know what that means, but the life is not hectic, at least for us. Like people who are in the logistics, yes, of course, that was their life, of course, would be hectic because they have to work outside in the environment. For like people who are the carpenters, the drivers, the welders, and all those people, they had to work outside. The electricians, the engineers, so they had to work outside the station for quite a long bit of time every day, almost every day. And for them the life of course had to be hectic, but for us it wasn't. And I think we are lucky in that respect. But yeah, we used to chill out in the station only, so it was not that hectic for us. But yes, someone who is in the logistics and the engineering section, their life is quite hard in Antarctica. Question 16, did you go to South Pole? Yeah, no, we didn't go to South Pole. The last Indian South Pole expedition was, I think, in the 28th expedition, and this was the 38th expedition. So that was the last time the Indian scientists went to South Pole. Other than that, after that, no one has gone to South Pole from India as per my knowledge. No, we didn't go to South Pole. The maximum that I have gone to is 70-degree south latitude. So that is around 20 degrees away from South Pole. Question number 17, what animals did you see in Antarctica apart from penguins? What animals did you see in Antarctica apart from penguins? Yes, you have seen the penguin video, obviously. Whoever has asked that question, and who haven't seen the video, check out that video in my channel. Yes, apart from penguins, what we saw was seals. Penguins, basically, there are I think 8 types of penguins that you can get in Antarctica, but we saw only 3 kinds: Adelie, Emperor, and something else. I forgot that. And seals, we saw Emperor seals and Weddell seals. Yes, 2 kinds of seals that we saw in Antarctica. And other than that, while coming in voyage, we saw some whales, but not the proper whale. We saw the fins, and not the fins, but what do you call that, the tail while it was going down, and the sprout that comes from the head from the whale. I don't know the proper term for that, but yeah, we saw that, but we did not see a proper whale like jumping that you can see in photos or something. But we didn't see that kind of a whale, that view of a whale. And other than that, we saw luminescent phytoplanktons. Yeah, bioluminescent phytoplanktons. We saw that also, very little, not much, but we saw that. Other than that, no, we didn't see any other animals. Question 18. How did you click this photo? This aura startle, this photo and the video. There's a video in my channel. So yeah, how did I click this photo? It was a very full moon night, and the aura was KP4, I think. So it was lucky for us that we could get that view. But that discussion is a long discussion. Maybe someday I can. I don't know. I haven't videographed myself while shooting that video, so I cannot give a hands-on description through my channel, but someday I can be able to explain that question in some different video, but that has to be a different video. It cannot be explained here. Question number 19. What did you eat in Antarctica? It was normal food that we have in our country. It was almost the same kind of food, because there is a huge ration that goes from Cape Town and from Goa to Antarctica every year, and it consists of everything from rice, flour, meat, fish, veggies. Of course, they are frozen. Meat, fish, veggies, all are frozen. And so yeah, that is a downside for that. Other than that, mainly what we have fresh is the onions and the potatoes that last till around September, October at least. So yeah, those remain fresh because they need not be frozen, but apart from that, everything is frozen. So yeah, but the menu is as equal to what we have in India, and we had a very good chef, Aditya, and he was a fine chef. He is a very experienced chef, and so we used to get a very good meal and very tasty food throughout our expedition. Question number 20. What was the worst weather condition that you faced? Yes, that I have already said. Worst weather condition that I faced was 35 knots on my body at minus 28 degrees Celsius. But what our station faced was around 100 knots with minus 35 to minus 38 degrees Celsius temperature. So that is the worst that we endured during our stay. Question number 21. Was there any problems in acclimatization? I cannot say what do you mean by acclimatization, because acclimatization is for the altitude, and since our station is on the sea level, Antarctica is just cold, it's not high, so it is at sea level, so there is no point in acclimatization. But if you mean acclimatizing to temperature literally, so yes, for the first few weeks it was difficult in the cold, but slowly and steadily the body gets accustomed to the temperature, and after that, like even in minus 10, minus 15 degrees, you can just go out in the t-shirt and stay out for at least 15 minutes or so. And yes, you will feel cold, but it won't be that chilly if you compare it with like going to some place like Gurudongmar Lake or Kalpa, where it is minus 6, minus 10. And if you're just traveling to those places from some place like Kolkata or Mumbai, and then you suddenly land up there, of course you'd be like, yes, we will put 3 layers or 4 layers of clothing. But once you start staying there, it becomes like your body accustoms to the temperature, and then it's like, yes, it is all right. So the same thing happened with us when we just landed. It was basically that did not happen also because we came by voyage. So in the voyage, mostly what we dealt was with the temperature was in the voyage. So we gradually got into the negative temperature, so slowly and steadily we got accustomed. And once we reached in Antarctica, after like the first week, it was okay for the temperature. But those who come by flight, yes, for them it takes time, at least 2 to 3 weeks, I think so. Question number 22: what does Bharti do? What kind of research does Bharti do? um, Bharti, there are two things. One is the ISRO part, the ISRO part, the space research thing. There is a lab for that, and they monitor the satellites and take the data for that, and that occurs throughout the expedition. And then there is the scientific part, the other thing, the research part, which is which incorporates a lot of departments. There is geomagnetism, there is geology, there is meteorology, there is wildlife, there is microbiology, and oceanography, glaciologists. Maybe I'm missing something, but these are the main. So every year during the summer, for 3 to 4 months, research scientists come and then take the samples and do their research. So these are the research teams that come in for the research during the summer periods. And during the winters, they set up the instruments, and there are lab technicians that stay back and who take those datas throughout the winters. And then after that, those datas are sent back to India once the summer starts again. So yeah, so a lot of research teams come, and from a lot of departments. They come to our station and do their researches. Of course, I do not know the details of what the topics were or what researches they were doing, but mainly these are the departments that come for the research there. Question number 23: what is inside Bharti Station? Inside Bharti Station, the ground level is basically the garage, and the first floor is the storeroom and the equipments that run the station, the generators, the water RO system, the purifying system, and all those things, and the labs. So that is there in the first floor. And the second floor is mainly the living accommodation places, the rooms, lounge, and the kitchen and the dining hall. So, and also the ISRO lab is also in the second floor. So that is how the station is structured. Question number 24: what is the mode of evacuation if any adverse health conditions arise? Unfortunately, during the winter months, there are no evacuation modes or evacuation procedures that can happen because there is no transportation during the winter months. The sea is frozen, and because of the inclement weather, even the flights do not take off. So from early April till around mid-November, there cannot be any evacuation procedures that can be taking place because there are no modes of travel during those months. Any evacuation, any transportation has to be done during the summer months from mid-November till end March or late April. That is the only time that you can transport someone or something from Antarctica to the mainland. So yes, if any harmful adverse conditions or any injuries or any medical emergencies occur, you have to deal with in the station during the stay if it is in the winter. Question number 25, lastly, what camera and equipments were you using? That has been asked repeatedly, and I've answered that question also, but I will say it again. I have a Canon EOS 6D Mark II, the camera body, and I had two lenses. One is the kit lens because I didn't have any at that time, and I had a wide angle lens just for the night photography. That was Samyang for Samyang 14mm f2.8, I think that is what I have, what I had then. And other than that, I had a GoPro Hero 5, and yes, that is my camera equipments that I had. So yes, thank you for watching, and if you have any more questions, then obviously ask them in the comment section below. And if you have any suggestions for my videos, then of course say that in the comment section below. And of course, like, subscribe, share, and bye bye.